Welcome back once again, guys. Young's Repair Shop. This time around, we're gonna put a new fuel tank in this Mercury here. See if that'll help our fuel problem. This is pretty much right after the last Mercury video, so not much time difference. Of course, the fuel filter is still plumb full of what looks like red dirt. But I got a brand new fuel tank over here that we're gonna put in. So hopefully that'll cure a lot of that. So here's the fuel tank I got. I think I showed it in the last video. But of course there's the sending unit. This is the bottom. Sending unit goes on the bottom. Here's where your filler neck goes in. I'm assuming there's some type of seal O-ring gasket thing that goes here. I don't have that. And there's a hole in the hump in the middle. Don't know what goes there. And I don't have it anyway. I did come with a new lock ring and a new O-ring for that. Here's the trunk. Of course, this is after I cleaned it. It did have a whole bunch of stuff in here. Got an extra emblem, and a bunch of light bulbs for some reason. Got some trim that I'm pretty sure goes with the car. I don't know what these are, but these here go around the back glass. Got the bumper jack, some sort of leather clothy material. That's the trunk lid don't close mechanism. And of course here's your filler neck. I don't know how this comes out. I don't know if this piece comes off and then you can pull the neck out. I'm just really not for sure. So we got to figure that out. And there's the hump that correlates with the hump in the fuel tank. Like I said, I don't know what goes there. I'm assuming a vent of some kind, since you don't have one over here, but I don't know. And of course, here's the fuel tank situation. Can't see it real good because I ain't got no light under here yet, but it's not actively dripping, but it leaks really bad. And like we've seen from the past videos, it must have a bunch of crud in it because it just fills that filter up in no time. And I don't like it leaking, and I don't like how dirty it is. So no more than a new fuel tank was, I just went ahead and bought one. I did find some sending units. I hadn't bought one. If we get into it and this one is just no good, I guess we can buy one. I was really hoping not to. I was hoping to just reuse this one. Maybe clean the sock out or something and just reuse it. And like I say, the rest of this stuff, I don't know. I just bought this fuel tank off Rock Auto, and they didn't list none of the other gaskets or whatever, so we'll just have to figure that out. I did park it on my ramps last night to get it ready for this, and it's leaked all of the gas that was in the tank out from the pinhole that's in this line down there. So that's good. That'll make that tank lighter for us. Oh, and there's the Cadillac. It's not went anywhere. Just haven't really done anything with it other than drive it lately. Still need to clean the blue off of the tires, and need to fix my headlight adjusters, and I need to fix the exhaust leak. It's still pretty bad. But I do have future plans for fixing that car more. Just haven't got around to them yet. But let's get into tearing this fuel tank out. Well, I'm trying to get this sending unit all unhooked. Of course, the wires, they just unhook. I don't have a clue if gas is just going to come spilling out of this or not. That end it is. We're draining this into an approved container, by the way. Alright, got that unhooked. Got my socket hanging up here. I can't get it all the way on. That'll be alright, I think. Hey, that was easy. Something tells me the whole stud is turning. And it is, yeah. That's good. Well, okay. And it's a stud, it's not a bolt. Huh. Well, let me try to get a peek up in there. See what's going on. Sweep all this rust out of our way. Right back onto the dirt where it comes from. Going on up in here. There's a plate of some kind that holds the stud. Well, how do you keep that from spinning? There's a slot here. Like you're supposed to just slip it out of the slot. But you can't do that with the straps on it. I really don't want to cut the straps. And I would prefer not to cut the bolts because I probably don't have any more to replace them with. I wonder if a big screwdriver would hold it. There we go. Oh, my hand is cramping. Well, we got one strap off. Now I guess would be a good time to put a jack up underneath this thing so that it don't just fall out on top of me while I do the other one. And maybe now would be a good time to look at how that filler neck comes out. Those pliers work pretty good, if I do say so. Yeah, there's the stud we was dealing with. It's kind of a dumb, there's nothing to hold it to not spin. That's kind of crazy, dumb, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I'm going to look at that filler neck, see what I can figure out about that. And then we'll get something under here to hold this thing from just falling out on top of us. So here's the filler neck situation. We've got this guard over the filler neck where it's at in the trunk that's riveted in, and then we've got a rubber grommet gasket thing that I guess is supposed to seal the trunk from the outside. It's not doing such a great job because there's a huge hole right there. So I come out here and there's 4 bolts that hold the filler neck in. I'm taking those out, and hopefully once I get those out, I can maybe just pull the filler neck out. That would probably be the easiest outcome of this. I'm hoping that's what I can do anyway. There's 3 of them. We're gonna figure out here in just a minute. All right, so there's all 4 bolts. Well, stuff is loose. A lot looser than it was. Yep, there we go. That's what I wanted. Now, there we go. What is that? That must be the vent for when you're filling it up. There's the filler neck. Here's whatever this is. I don't know. We're just gonna leave that. I can't really get in here and see nothing for myself. Maybe I'll stick y'all down in there and you can tell me what it's looking like. Hopefully everything down in there is gonna be all right to reuse. If it's not all right to reuse, I don't know what we're gonna do, because that's about the only option I was counting on, was to just reuse everything. So now we got that out. Let's finish pulling this thing out. Well, we got that strap off. That one was quite a bit more challenging. The bolt stuck in that stud and didn't want to come off, but I was able to get it loose enough and get it worked over enough where I just pulled the whole stud out of the slot. So now this tank should come on out of here. Don't know how full it is, or if anything's hooked up on the top. Of course, it's front heavy, so it's just going to fall here in a minute. But that's okay, because we got a new one. And whatever's on the top, I'm sure that's not important at all. It does have some fuel in it. Or well, it's got something in it. I don't know if I would call it fuel. There we go. Oh, yeah. And we're out. Oh yeah, we got all kinds of leaks going on. And the top is a vent. Kind of suspected that. So let me get this stuff cleaned out. Get the jack out of here. Yep. That way we can do that. Pull the vent out of it. And of course the gasket for that is no good. And whatever this is still there. But yeah, there's all kinds of pinholes in it. I've already seen one leaking. So I'll get this drug out from under the car and we'll take a look at it. Alright, there she is. Like I say, we've got several pinholes. There's one over here. There's one over there in that corner. Which I think you can see that one. That is a vent. I've not even looked at this side, but yeah, there's a hole. There's a hole. No, that's a reflection. But that's definitely a hole. So, lots of holes. That makes me feel better about replacing it. Because to begin with, I was thinking that maybe I'm just pulling it out for no reason. But that does make me feel better about pulling it out and replacing it. Got to figure out what is going on here with this. Get the sending unit out of it. Here's the gasket for that vent. It is no good. I don't think it'll seal again. It's just wore out from sitting mostly with bad gas in it, probably. There's the vent hanging. So I mean, as long as we can figure something out for that, that's all that is. Here's the gasket for the filler neck. Well, I don't know that it's going to come off of there in one piece. Yep, there it goes. Well, it came off in one piece, but it's rough. It might be reusable, but I don't know if it was leaking there or not. So after I get all this apart, I'm gonna scour the internet and see if I can come up with any of that stuff. And I dropped my flashlight. All right, I got the lock ring busted off, or busted loose. There it is. I got the tank sitting up on its side, and there's two of the holes we had. So anything past about half a tank, it was just leaking out of those two. Plus the hole right here. And most of the holes seem to be right around this half a tank mark. So I'm guessing maybe it was that full when it was parked, and that's why it's rotted out so bad at that level. I'm gonna try to get this out of here. Like I said, I do have a new O-ring gasket, whatever, for the sending unit, but I don't have a new sending unit. So if it's like everything else, we're probably gonna have to find one. Oh wow, yeah. Wow, it just keeps going. There's no float. And there's no sock. Wow, that's bad. So yeah, sure we're gonna have to find one of those now. And I got to figure out where that goes. Let me get a light in there. So that goes, I guess that's maybe part of the vent system. Oh, look at that fuel. Let me get you in this hole, if I can. Oh, if it'll focus down in there. Let me get that out of our way. Got that tube off, it's laying there. The only thing I can figure that is because it was in the filler neck area, that is so when you're filling it, it doesn't just fill the neck up and then make your handle click, and then you have to wait and then fill it up again and then click and then all that good stuff. I've run into that on old Chevrolet trucks. Of course, this tank does not have that. But that tank is a lot better than this one is, so we're going to use it. Here is what's going on in there. Looks like barnacles scaling. I mean, it's not good. I can get you in there. There's the bottom of it. So that's what we was picking up and sucking up into that filter. So yeah, that's no good. But I've got this tank stripped down. I guess now I'm gonna have to find parts. Like I say, I was really hoping to reuse that, but there's not even anything left on here to reuse. The float is gone, and the sock is gone. I could plug it up and at least move this to see if my gauge even works. Because see, my gauge hadn't worked either, which we now know why. These originally probably would have had a brass float, I'm assuming, but it might have been plastic. So, don't know. I'll have to find that and all the gaskets and stuff. So, we'll go from there. Well, we're back out here again. Been a couple days. Been waiting on parts, but we finally got some parts come in today. Had the grommet for the vent that come in. I think it's right. The inside hole diameter looks right compared to the old one, which was wore out. And we got sending unit, brand new from Amazon. I think Amazon. No, eBay. It was the best high quality one I could find on eBay. Not really, it was the cheapest one I could find. But it seems to work. Had to modify it a little bit, but I think we can get it to work. So we're gonna put those parts in. Still waiting on the filler neck grommet, the big grommet. It's not gonna be here for another couple days, but I figure we can go ahead and get this knocked out. And that way when it comes in, we can slap the fuel tank in. So let's do that. All right, so here's the sending unit. Like I say, I had to modify it a little bit. I've already test fit it, made sure it would go in the hole, but right out of the box, this is your grounding wire. The old one isn't made like this. I think this pot is metal and it just grounds right to the rod. But this one's got a wire, and straight out of the box, that spade stuck out. Well, if it sticks straight out, it sticks, well, you can see how much further out it would stick. Well, that keeps you from being able to put it in the hole. So I had to bend that. I checked it with my digital meter, and it still works. And then I had to swap the float around so that it had full travel. The float was very reverse of what it is now, and it wouldn't, as you can see, it wouldn't go down all the way that way. So I swapped it around that way. That shouldn't matter. I mean, it's in the same location, so. But other than that, I'm gonna get this in here. No, I'm not. I gotta put that on first. I'm gonna put that on, then I'm gonna put that on. All right, this is the stuff that come with the new tank. This is the stuff that come with the new sending unit. As you can tell, those are not the same. I don't know what they was thinking, which I know it's cheap, it's off eBay, whatever. But that ain't gonna work because the tank actually has a groove cut in here for this. which seems like it would work a whole lot better anyway. So we're going to use that one. Another thing I did just notice is this has cutouts here, and this has tabs on it. I didn't even make sure that those tabs was going to line up and be correct. So I guess we'll figure that out. But in we go. Sending it to its new forever home. If it'll go in there. Come on, get in there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, grommet's still in there good. And will this work? Well, we're hitting the bottom of the tank, so that's good. Well, it's not, it's hitting the bottom of the tank, which, I mean, I guess it's good. It's all the way at the bottom, but I've got to still be able to get it in there. So I'm gonna bend this, and then we're gonna put it in again. So I bent this some. I just bent it a little bit. And it fits a lot better now. It actually fits. I don't know how close. Oh, it's plenty close to the bottom, so that'll work just fine. Let's see. I don't know if the float goes all the way to the bottom. Oh yeah. So the float will actually tell us if it's full. Will it tell us if we're full? So full is 3/4 of a tank, I guess. That'll give us false hope for being full for a long time. So that'll be good. Alright, now let's put the lock ring on. And yeah, I guess I could play around and try to get the arm to be actually full. But if you make it to where it's actually full, then empty isn't empty, and I don't care enough about this particular car to put that much work into one little piece of it. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the car, but I don't know, it's not the Cadillac. Let's see. It looks like we got all of them pretty well in there. Yep. Alright. That's in. It's ready to go. Now we got to put this top vent grommet in. And if it works, it looks like it will. Maybe. Let's see. Our flavor of choice for trying to get this in is probably going to be this transmission fluid. I don't have any real good spray stuff here right now. Let's see if it'll go in here. Oh, almost. Hey, I think it'll fit. I think it fits. Yep. That'll work. there's not a lot of support for these old Mercuries. The older body styles there is, and the newer stuff there is, but this particular body style, I think it's 77 through 79. Not a lot of support. So luckily, I think the Ranchero and the Thunderbird of the same era use all the same fuel tank stuff. So I guess now we just gotta wait on parts again. Oh, I do have to get the bolt out of this strap. Well, like I said, gotta get the bolt out of this strap, or actually I gotta get the nut off of the stud so I can get the strap off of both of them. And I really don't want to break this stud because I'm sure they're really easy to find. But it feels like that's exactly what's going to happen. Well, it might come off this time. Whew, it heated everything up, but it come apart. I'm glad it came apart. I really didn't want to have to be finding one of those studs or making something or whatever. Well, we got her apart. Got it out of the socket. There's the strap. I'll take both of these studs and the nuts and clean them up. The straps I'm not even going to touch. They're still in really good shape, at least as far as I can tell. I mean, there's no horrible rusting on them. Anyway, they're in really good shape, so I'm not going to touch those. I'll clean these up, get those ready to put back in. We still got to wait a couple days for the last piece to come in. Then we can put that fuel tank in and get this thing back driving and hopefully not have any issues now that we've got a brand new fuel tank. Here's what the inside of that old fuel tank looked like. A lot of stuff down in there. A lot of stuff. All right, well, we're back out here one more time on this fuel tank, hopefully one more time. Last grommet finally came in. It's raining cats and kittens, dogs outside, so I've already made sure that this will fit the filler neck. I don't know if it'll fit the fuel tank. I did take the filler neck, took my Ziz wheel and cleaned off a bunch of this rust that was on just the end of it. It looks like the grommet sits about right here, but there was, you can see all the pitting down here where the rust was. And this one is a little different. That's that one. That's the old one. So this one's got a rubber inside to it where that one doesn't. But when I test fitted this onto there, it just kind of pushes the lip. I don't know if I can get it. It just kind of pushes the lip out, kind of like that when you put it in. So I think I'm gonna leave it. At first I was thinking about cutting that piece off, but I think if anything, it'll just help it seal off a little better. So I guess I'll just leave it. But we're gonna make sure it'll fit in this hole. It looks like it's going to. Maybe. Hopefully. I think. Yep. Well, that's mostly fit. Yeah. Yep. So, we've got all of our grommets in. Fuel tank is ready to go in. So I'm gonna attempt to do that right now. All right, so the first thing, goodness, that edge is sharp. First thing I'm gonna do is put that vent back in, because you can't get to that with the tank in. Let's see, I've got the tank turned the wrong way. No wonder it didn't look like it was gonna fit. Can't tell if I'm in a puddle or if this rubber's just cold. Either way, I should probably, no. Well, that'll make it rust. I should probably put at least one of these in first. That way I can lay the nuts right there and lose them in a minute. But that way we also already have those in. And I found out that I'm using the completely wrong size socket. The studs are actually metric. I didn't know that. I do now, but it's a little too late, so. All right, we got this thing in. I got to hook up the fuel hose and the electrical, but it's in. Of course, y'all was on a fast forward, but it did pop pretty loud putting it in, so hopefully I didn't break it apart or nothing like that, but it is in. I'm gonna go ahead and hook that stuff up right quick, and then, well, we can't move to the front. I was gonna say move to the front. Got to put in the filler neck, and then we got to put gas in it. So we're really close to firing this thing back up with a new fuel tank in it. That's exciting. All right, guys, got the filler neck in. Got about 5 gallons worth of gas in it, just the good that come out of the old tank. Let's see if she fires up, and we'll drive a quarter mile up the road so I can go get some supper. She wants to. So far. This thing's not very happy when it's cold anyway, but so far so good. Now I still haven't put a new fuel filter on it. I don't have one. I thought I had one, but I don't. So I've got to get one of those. And I still haven't cut the fuel line that was leaking. So I'm gonna have to park it uphill or just hope that 5 gallons won't leak out. And the red light that's on is my door jar switch. Although it's not a jar, it is a jar. This is the first time I've ever drove this vehicle in the rain, and I can't see nothing because I don't think the windshield wipers work. Even if they did, there's no red on it, or no, oh my gosh, there's no rubber on them. It made it. Hey, that's a start. Still doing pretty good. Well, we died. I don't know what exactly is still going on with this thing. It's kind of aggravating though. Well, I'm not really sure what was going on there when I pulled in. It died, and it also died on me at the end of the road when I was pulling in, slowing down to pull into the road. So I don't really know what's going on there. I do still have a fuel leak down at that hose, but I crawled up underneath it, loosened it, cut the end off that was leaking and put it back on, but it's still leaking. I don't know if the hose is bad or if I just don't have it tight enough. I got it what I felt like was pretty tight, but it's running good now. I did notice, you know, I would think that this filter would stay full all the time. Now, yeah, it's too small of a filter, but I would think that filter would stay full all the time. See, it's pumping now, but it'll pump. Now that I'm talking about it, it's gonna fall down, but it'll pump and then it won't pump, and then it'll pump and then it won't pump, and I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Had it where it stayed a minute ago. See, it'll drain out, and then it'll pump back, and then it'll drain out, and then it'll pump back. I don't know if that's part of our problem, or if it's maybe timing or something. I don't really know. See, there's pumping back slowly. Like I say, I do still have a leak down there. You can see that it's still wet. So, don't know. I still hadn't even put a timing light on it. But it's not getting hot or anything like that. Fuel gauge doesn't work. Now, instead of being on empty, it's pegged out past full. But I think it's pretty much all I have time for this video. I don't know what else I need to do to this car, really. I know it needs floor pans and probably needs brake work. I don't really know what else I want to do to this. Been thinking about selling it. I had originally thought about driving it, but the Cadillac has been really reliable, whereas this thing has just been a constant working on it. I don't really want to give up on it, but I kind of need the room too. I'm pretty much out of room. I mean, I've got a bunch of stuff, mostly trucks and stuff, but I kind of need the room. If anybody's interested in it, shoot me a message. Does have a clean title, and y'all have seen everything I've done to it, and it runs decent, stops decent, just needs some more work. I got all the matching wheels and all the hubcaps. I mean, I guess if I don't sell it, I'll eventually fix the floor pans, and I don't know what to do about the outside, but other than that, I think that's going to be it for this video. Y'all don't forget to like, subscribe, all that. Let me know what else you want to see. Like I said, I've got plans for the Cadillac, but they just haven't come to fruition yet. And I've got a old square body right there that I'd like to start working on. That was my grandpa's old truck, one of them. I'd like to work on it a little bit. It runs, it's just been a yard ornament for months now. But that'll be the end, so we'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.